Hey y'all, how is it going? Sorry y'all, there's like a lot of glare from that light bulb above me. Let's see if I can fix that. Just a tad. Not really. Sorry y'all. And sorry I'm late y'all. I had some sort of last minute music and YEG stuff that I was doing that kind of went a little bit longer than I thought. Hey Allison, hey Kaiwan. Man. Sorry Kaiwan, I don't know what you mean. Ah, lordy. But yeah. How are you guys doing? How was the week so far for you guys? GH has been okay this week. Just okay so far. I'm intrigued to see what Nina is going to do with that prostitute. Is she gonna send him Drew's way? Send her Drew's way, sorry? Or cause a scandal for whatever this current politician guy's name is. I am curious. I mean, I could see Drew cheating on Willow. Unless he like figures out that it's a trap from Nina. Angel, you said I'm surviving. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that hard. Allison, you said I wonder when we will actually see Michael. I am curious about that too. Because in the promo it seems like she's in Germany to visit him. That doesn't necessarily mean that that we'll see him, because he might not want to see her. And that's because Portia wouldn't touch Drew with a 10-foot pole, Kaiwan. So it's not going to happen. Join us back in reality. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much of a plan for the stream beyond kind of discussing the Michael situation. Because Maurice did announce that they are looking for a new Michael. Whether or not we'll see the new Michael this week is anyone's guess. But there is a confirmation that they are going to recast Michael, and Chad's not returning. I would love it to be Drew. I don't like Drew Garrett. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I would love it. And I did get suspicious when Maurice had Drew on his show, but I don't see it happening. I just hope that whoever they get, is good. Hopefully plays Michael a bit more. I don't even know. I mean, what it comes down to, the writing needs to get better for Michael in order for Michael to be better. And I just need him to be different from Chad. I never warmed up to the guy. Drew Garrett was king for me, he played him so well. And it's not that Chad doesn't go toe to toe with the actors that he's working with, he can hold his own. He just doesn't seem like who Michael was kind of introduced to us as an adult, or like a coming of age teenager. Not that he needs to be like playing Michael as what he was like as a teen, but Yeah, exactly, Allison. He needs to have more of an edge and Chad just doesn't have edge. He can be nasty, right? He can be diabolical when he needs to be, and he plays that diabolical role well. But like he just needs to be a bit of a rebel. Like AJ and Carly are his parents. So like personalities, he doesn't seem to have either of them. So I just, you know, like it just I need a more badass Michael. I need a more edgy Michael, and Chad can't do edgy. Angel said if it's a recast, I wonder if he will be temp or permanent. I mean, the way that Maurice kind of worded it, it's the recast that's coming, whether it's this week or soon, is permanent in terms of like they're replacing Chad, because Chad, you know, I mean, at least at this time he doesn't want to come back. That's not to say that he might not want to come back in the future, but in order for this story to continue, they need to bring a Michael in. And, you know, Chad's doing his thing, whatever that may be. I haven't really paid too much attention, but Chad's got to do some healing on his own after losing, I believe it's his father that he lost. And, you know, however long that takes, it's what it takes. And if he decides not to come back, then that's also his prerogative. And, you know, just because I don't want him back doesn't mean like I don't want him to heal in his life and move on to bigger and better things and try new things. I think I think the part of like, or something that helps people heal is to kind of start to move differently than what you used to, and sometimes that means kind of stepping away from your past. It might strike as like running away a little bit, but it's just kind of like starting a new chapter, and maybe, you know, losing his father is kind of like clear the path to sort of start fresh and figure out who he is without his father, and, you know, see what else he can do in his career. I think the double-edged sort of soaps, if you're an actor, is that usually if you're on a soap, you kind of stay there, you know, and if you do leave one soap, you might go to another, but it's very rare that you see them crack through primetime. So I don't know. Sorry, I'm just catching up on what people are saying in the chat. He's going to Broadway? What are we talking about, Anna Nicole Smith? Because she died a long time ago. The actress Anna Nicole Smith? Unless you're thinking like Pamela Anderson. Because you're thinking Baywatch. He always said it like he's coming back. They need a Michael with the story. It's true. Chad, I mean, Chad very well could come back, but like, I think that if he decides to, then, like, I think it'll be in his own time. And I think that whoever ends up playing Michael so that the story can continue might get, you know, screwed. Depending on how good he does. Or doesn't do. Oh, Nicholas Chavez is doing a play with Pamela Anderson. Well, that's cool. Pamela Anderson, apparently she got like a lot of praise for that recent movie that she did. I have not seen it, but it's a play and a movie. Okay. But yeah, it's I don't know. I think that whoever plays Michael will probably get screwed the second that Chad wants to come back. A la, what's the other comparison? Greg Vaughn and Jonathan Jackson. When John wanted to come back, they pushed Greg out the door like nothing. You know? Crazy. I did see the trailer, but I didn't see Nick in the trailer. So if he is in that movie, he doesn't seem to have a big role. Unless he's the killer. Because, you know... I mean, if we don't see his face, but he's supposed to be in that movie... Who knows? Who knows? Unless there's a newer trailer and he's in it and I just haven't seen that trailer. But yeah. I hope I just hope that whoever plays Michael does a good job and that they give Michael a bit of an edge. How that will pertain to how he treats Willow, I don't know. I don't necessarily know what I want storyline wise. What I want Michael's headspace to be when he does come back to town. Whatever his headspace is now, it's kind of valid at this point because they haven't had a conversation. And Jason and Carly said, we don't know what Michael's mindset is right now. Rick says, I'm the killer. Hey, Sandy. But yeah, we really don't know. We don't know what the story will be with Michael. I'm intrigued. I don't blame him if he pushes back. I feel like Drew is gonna end up going there and pissing Michael off. Like, Willow's gonna go on her own, and then Drew's gonna follow in his own private jet, you know? That's what I see happening, at least this week, maybe going into next week as well. But yeah, and that's assuming that we see Michael. Because again, she could go all the way to Germany and just be like, the doctors would be like, he doesn't want to see you. Or he can't see you. We don't know if he's allowed actual visitors yet. Because Carly couldn't even get in the last time she was there. Kind of sucks they didn't let Temp Michael audition. Yeah, like, I saw that too. And it's, because that was Robert Adamson, I think, right? And, yeah, it's a bit weird because I thought he did a pretty decent job considering they just kind of threw him in. Alright, see you, Rick. But yeah, like, I thought he did a good job for considering he had to be there for like the most pivotal part of Michael's storyline, which is unfortunate. But like, understandable. I don't know kind of the timeline of when Chad's father was dying or passing away and all that stuff. But yeah. Sandy says I'm late because I was washing my eyes with bleach after seeing Drew and Willow in bed. Yeah, that was kind of gross. That was unnecessary. Thank God they stopped it early. The one plus side to GH cutting all like bedroom scenes very short is that we didn't have to see that. He must have that toxic D, y'all. It's turned her head into brain rot. He was angry about it. I don't blame it. Yeah, I didn't see what he said. I just saw that he was disappointed. In like a passing moment in an article. But yeah, like, dude should have went for it. I think he got like a lot of praise when he was the temporary recast. I certainly praised him. I'm sorry, y'all, my allergies are acting up today. We had a bit of rain, and so the grass is growing and turning green, and that's just like, bleh for me. But yeah, it's, Kaiwan, you need help. If you need to rewatch Willow and Drew in bed for 10 seconds over and over again, and I say this as like, there is not a single couple that I have adored on this soap where I'm like, I gotta watch that love scene again. If anything, like, the only time I've rewatched love scenes, like, purposely is to figure out what song is playing. And that was, like, back in, like, the mid-2000s when I was looking for all the songs and putting them on the Envious 01 channel. I wonder, did he give Willow 45 minutes like he gave her mom? I'm sure it was like 2. 2 minutes. We're having a thunderstorm right now. We had a little bit of rain earlier this evening, and we had rain some point in the day when I was at work. I didn't get to see it. There was no windows where I was, y'all. But yeah. Hey Nathan, we're just chit-chatting about Michael, and we know he's being recast to sort of move the story along. I don't know if he airs this week, but like it could. It just feels like it was only a couple days ago that that Maurice kind of said that, on the anniversary of Chad Duell's premiere, we've got news that they're looking for a new Michael. So it seems like they're still looking. So whoever we might see, if we do see Michael's face when Willow goes to Germany, might not even be the one that ends up being Michael in the permanent sense. I remember that song, Kaiwan, but he is a 1 minute man, yo. I mean, maybe not. He's probably not. I'm sure Drew is probably great at sex, because that is probably the only appealing thing about Drew. Certainly isn't his personality. Not even the one he's like showing her. Nathan said, I heard Rory Gibson, who plays Noah, is playing Michael. Just a rumor. That'd be interesting, I guess. I mean, I don't know who that is, but like it would be kind of weird if they if we see a Michael tomorrow or Friday, and it's not Adam Robinson or whatever his name is. I've already forgotten his name. Robertson, who literally did just play like a day recast Michael. That'd be weird. Because did they not play the same? Like, was he not also on YNR? He'll probably be all bandaged, so it will be a stand-in if we see Michael at all. But I mean, like, we know he's conscious and having conversations with people. So like, I don't know. They could just have a bandaged guy and have Chad Duell's voice, maybe. But we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. Like, in a perfect world for me, it would 100% be Drew Carrot. 100%. I want to see that fine ass man playing Michael again, but I don't see it happening. I would love it for it to happen. I didn't actually get a chance to watch the whole interview yet with Maurice and Drew. But from what I understand, like, he obviously went through like a skin condition situation, and it kept him from his career for a while. But it seems to be on the mend. So like, he needs to get back out there and do his thing again, in my opinion. And if that's restarting at GH, establishing himself a fan base again. And plus it gives people that maybe didn't see Drew as Michael a chance to see how he played Michael. At least a little bit. Obviously, Michael has matured. But I think that he would bring edge to Michael that's been missing. Sandy, you said Michael needs to be home, scars and all. His children need him. Yeah. I think, like, my annoyance, I think that Carly or Jason, someone should have told him what was going on. Because I feel like, let's say Willow goes there and they have a conversation and she's honest with him about, I've moved in with Drew. I have the kids. He's going to be pissed at Carly and Jason for not telling him, and Sunny. He's going to be pissed at his family for not giving him the heads up. The fact that Chad became Michael as was slowing down the show. Man. I suppose, yeah, I really, like, once 2010 hit, like, the end of 2010, things really started to slow down a lot. Like, after the Franco era, like, for sure, sorry, like, the original Franco story, I should say, because that kind of ended, I feel like that original arc ended in 2010, because it started, like, late 2009. But yeah, and it, like, you know, we've never gotten, like, a big sweep stunt after 2009. The last one we had was, like, that, the Toxic Balls story. which was so great, because it was in the hospital, and we got the new hospital set as a result. And we got to see, Drew Garrett, like, premiere as Michael in that hospital. In the new hospital set. But I don't know. I don't know. The show just really went downhill. The closest thing we've gotten to a sweeps was the story that Frank and Ron did with the pathogens situation with Jerry Jacks, the poisoned water supply and all that stuff. But that wasn't really sweeps. It was like September, and it was because they were changing the time slot for GH at the time. So they wanted to do it big. But yeah, we've not had an impressive sweeps since those days, and that's so unfortunate. And I'm sure, like, a lot of the other soaps kind of fell off the map back then too. Not all of them had as much action as GH to begin with, but I feel like a lot of them kind of participated in those sweeps months, and it really, I think, in a way, like, those sweeps sort of milestones, because it was always like February, May, November, they really helped the writers shape certain stories so that they didn't drag on forever, because they would be like, okay, this is when this needs to be revealed, this needs to be revealed by this sweeps, and this needs to be the ending for this story arc. And things were a lot more fast-paced in terms of the storylines back then. And I think sweeps is why. Truly, I really do. Yeah, I miss sweeps too. I just think about all those, like, great stories from, like, you know, 2006. Let's say 2004 onwards. 2004 to 2009. So, like, the Port Charles hotel fire, the train wreck, the virus epidemic, with the monkey situation in Markham Islands, and then after that, what was it after that? So that was like November 2006. No, it wasn't. That was February 2006. Is the Nurses Ball next month? It is. It's towards the end of next month. What else? Oh my god, why am I blanking? Obviously. So, I mean, the November after that was, like, Laura coming back and the 25th anniversary of Luke and Laura's wedding. But then they went back into the hostage crisis at the Metro Court in 2007, and then the Black and White Ball at Windermere in November, and then Toxic Balls. We didn't get really a sweeps in 2008, but 2009 had the Toxic Balls. Who's Ted? Oh, you've heard. Oh, okay, other soaps. Other soap sweeps. The only one I can kind of remember from another soap was there was a tornado story. I feel like it was All My Children. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that was, like, as close to a GH sweep stunt that I've seen, that I can recall. Was Jake born in 2007? He was born in 2007, yes. Because I think May. I think it was May. I think that was the May sweeps, was Jake being born. May 2007. Rick's father died. Yeah, on the Toxic Balls, Trevor Lansing kind of got all diabolical and wanted to trade the pathogen for like a shit ton of money. And then he basically swan dived off the roof and nearly took Sam down with him. Was All My Children? Okay. That's what I thought. There's a lot of green screen effects, but they didn't look half bad as from what I remember. That was the only time I kind of somewhat paid attention to All My Children as it aired. That and like when Jesse and Angie kind of got to the forefront again. But yeah, I don't know. The good old days, the good old sweeps. I feel like we kind of had like a sweep-esque storyline in like 2010 or no 2011 at the start of January, even though it wasn't sweeps. The bus crash, it felt like it, but there was just a lot of like beeline characters and extras. What about Faison in a Duke mask? That don't count. Listen, I would argue that 2013, when that story happened, as well as like that whole year in general, was like one big celebration for the 50th anniversary. But I wouldn't necessarily call that a sweep stunt. That was just like a celebration to throw in as many callbacks into the show as they possibly could in the span of a year. And that's essentially how, you know, Frank and Ron saved GH. They really got to ride on the coattails of the anniversary because they brought back everyone they could. We had everyone from Felicia, Frisco, AJ, freaking like everybody. Anna, Faison, like they all came back. Duke, Robert, you know, the story with Robin dying and coming back. There was a lot going on. We even seen Sean Donnelly for a little bit. Anna Donnelly's first appearance with a different actress. I'm definitely missing a few, but like a shit ton. Frisco even came back. Holly did too. They were all a part of that year, but that was not sweeps. That was just like a year-long celebration, and bringing back the nurses' ball. You know, just all these different things. Why isn't everybody getting their own separate storyline and becoming more of an umbrella? That was kind of the MO. Like all the stories would come together in that room, in that moment. All these big reveals were happening. Not to all. They weren't all like that, but like I think back to the Black and White Ball. And it was Emily dying, Nicholas's brain tumor, the text message killer. That's when that began. The confrontation with Lucky finding out that Jason is the father of Jake. Like just a bunch, all kind of coming together all at once in that story. I don't know. I feel like, to me, like there doesn't seem to be a legitimate reason why they can't have their own checkpoints that are like regularly, consistently a certain month, where they can kind of put all the stories to head. Because sweeps isn't really a thing anymore, because it's not like the ratings don't work the same as they did back in the day. So the writers just decided not to put much effort into those months anymore. And I'm sure the networks probably don't give as much money as they probably would have back then. Because, you know, GH was blowing up whole entire sets with actual, you know, explosives and not like whatever cheap thing they're using these days. The cheap imitation of the firebomb that they have in that machine and like, you know, debris thrown from the side of the screen. But yeah, I don't know. I do miss those days. I do. Oh man. But yeah, I think, you know, the reality for network television these days is that they really put all the money in the primetime shows. Like 911 on ABC. They get to do all their big sort of elaborate action-packed scenes. I did notice, like, compared to when they were on Fox, they used lower quality cameras. But the action is still, like, intense. So, I don't know. I don't know if anyone watches 911, but I like bawled my eyes out on the last one. Bawled like a baby, y'all. I was barely keeping it together at the end. Yeah, they could still do sweeps. It's just, yeah, like they could in a sense of like setting themselves a timeline, but like they just won't get. We're not gonna get the big explosive things and the whole building of new sets to just tell these stories. That's that Disney money, but Disney makes a lot of money, y'all. They just don't put it on to the soaps. I mean, Disney bought Fox, you know. They own Fox and ABC, but then they just moved that 911 show to ABC instead. Which I'm grateful for because I love that show. It's probably my favorite. Hate to say it, it's probably my favorite show. Sorry, GH. Albert, you and I need to go on a live stream together and just like have a discussion. We need to have ourselves a debate one day. We gotta make time for it at some point. But no, we're talking about Michael. Well, I mean, we were talking about Michael. 911? No, the normal 911. Lone Star got canceled. Yeah, Disney ka-ching. No, we're talking about like who could be the new Michael recast. Who we'd want to be the new Michael recast. Do you have thoughts on that? Because it seems like we might see him this week, or we might see a recast Michael this week, or we're going to see one down the road that will be the permanent new Michael. So hopefully if you have time next month coming up. Alright, bet. Yeah, I'll have a bit of time. It's mostly like the end of May that's kind of busy. But yeah, we'll make a plan. We'll make a plan. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I totally forgot, Allison. Lulu's new house is this old Spencer family house, which was also at one point Carly's house, and I think at one point also Elizabeth's house. That house has been so many people's freaking places, and they don't make any effort to like change it in any way. The weirdly shaped door in the corner there. What it leads to, I think that's the basement door. That's the basement where they kind of put Dante in with Bill Eckert's skeleton as well, which was Luke's old house when he was a child. They're man, they might paint it a little, but really it doesn't. They don't change a damn thing about it. I am surprised that set is still buildable for how long they've been using it. That set's, oh, I was just like, really? I mean, like, it's funny because a Spencer is back in there, you know. But like, I just think back to like Lulu and Carly's conversations on the couch in that living room back when she was asking for advice on Dylan and on Johnny and Logan. But yeah. Oh man. It's just funny. It's just funny. Lulu's house? Are you sure? I mean, I don't know. I wasn't... I've not seen too many clips from back then, so you could be right, but... Like, that house... If that's the case, that house vanished until, like, 2006. Yeah, the house is blue under Carly. Or no. When Carly lived there, then Carly had all that yellow living room and the bigger house. Oh, yeah. I liked that house. I liked that next house that she got. It was huge. It actually looked like a mansion, even though we only got to see like the living room and the corridor. The Carjack's house, yeah. I liked the Carjack's house. Oh, Ava's house. Ava's house. Well, she's probably moving out of there now that she's got a shit ton of money coming her way. I don't think we're gonna see that set for very long. But yeah, yeah, that Carjack's house was nice. The scene that I can remember the most, that I like always cracks me up when I think about it, is the one Christmas at the Carjack's house where Carly was trying to find her presents, and there was that window at like the back of the living room, like that huge window, and we just hear Carly scream, and then we just see a shit ton of snow like fall, and I guess like, oh, she fell off the roof. That was funny to me. But yeah. It was a good house. I think we definitely seen that set since then too. I think they used it for Franco at one point, or looking for Franco's mom or something. There was a storyline involving Roger Howarth's Franco, where they brought back that set for a while. Angel said that yellow living room drove me crazy. Sandy says Rick is a snake, but I'm enjoying Ava and Rick. Yeah, they work well. Like Rick is kind of like Ryan Chamberlain light, and the fact that like he's not like murder people evil, but he's evil enough that they kind of have, you know, the better vibe that, you know, Ava and Ryan could have had if he was like just shady and not a crazy killer. Yeah, no, they're a perfect match. They're a perfect match, and they keep each other on each other's toes. Like Rick, I feel like they keep each other in check. Like they let themselves be like evil enough, but they're like, pull back. We gotta do things rationally. I'm actually genuinely impressed that Rick just laid it all out for Alexis and just admitted that I'm in on it too. I know what your crazy daughter did. Man. Yeah, I liked those scenes. We'll get into all of that on Sunday, of course, when we talk about the full show. But yeah, it was funny. Rick isn't as bad as Ava even. Ryan was a psycho freak. Oh, I know. But, well, listen, I think... I don't know. Ava needs balance. And when she has no one to keep her in check, then she gets a little bit more evil. But I feel like if no one kept Rick in check, he could probably get worse himself too. Allison says, Christina has to be bipolar. That would be the only thing that helps her at this point. Just some kind of like explanation to like why she's cracked. But like, again, that could just be the grief again. Grief could have made her crack too. Well, yeah, I know Rick is better than Ryan. Listen, I'm just saying, like, they work better for me because Rick is like evil, but not in a Ryan Chamberlain way, and that's the kind of man that like Rick needs. And I guess Rick's not even really evil. He's just like conniving. He's just conniving. He's got no qualms on pushing people's buttons purposely, in my opinion. Like, I remember when he goaded Jason into beating him up back in the day. That was crazy. Rick with Lois? Why? Why put Rick with Lois? Why do you want like all these shitty couples go on? Yeah, so you like all the shitty couples. Drew and Willow. You want Portia and Drew for some reason as well. You want Christina with Lucky, and you want Rick with Lois. What? That's what people call on Tumblr crack ships. Ships that will never happen. And would be trash to most people if they did. Like, we want rootable couples. None of those are rootable. Allison says, no, he's just shady and can be a jerk. But I don't think he's ever killed. Well, yeah, I know. But he did try to help cover up a murder. It was like a very brief story. Very brief story because it was during the writer's strike and they quickly undid it. Well, they didn't undo it. They just dropped it hard. But yeah, they had Rick's somewhat girlfriend at the time. I can't even remember her name because she was on for that small amount of time. Kill either an ex-boyfriend or like someone that was just after her. In the warehouse explosion that Michael and Carly were in 2008. The first time we seen that awful CGI explosion, way back when. The same one that they used for when Sasha and Jason escaped that warehouse. And then I think they were just like gonna blame the explosion for the guy's death, and I just don't remember what happened after that because they really dropped it. First of all, they recasted her race quickly. Like, she went from some like young white woman in like a diner when Rick was out finding himself to like a Spanish woman who was in the country illegally. Like, the whole thing, like, you could just tell like the writers did not want that story and they needed a reason to get her out. They didn't want Rick to have like his own story. And that made me mad back then. Mariana. Yeah, there we go. Mariana. Yeah, I was actually really excited back then that Rick was getting his own story. I really enjoyed the scab writers that stepped in for GH during the strike at that time. I don't know. Just want something juicy and sloppy. Ew. I want love in the afternoon, dude. You know, we see enough like juicy and sloppy on prime time. We need like romance. Yeah, the people that were just all like, yo, they have chemistry. Like, I remember every time everyone said that, I was like, guys, no, like, she sees him as like an uncle. I never bought that chemistry. I was like, they have like uncle niece chemistry, or like, you know, father daughter chemistry, not like, you know, this. Y'all gave them that idea. Beyond the Gates. What about it? I ain't watching that show no more. They gotta recast half the characters in order for me to be able to stomach it. Just saying. You want to win me in as a viewer, you gotta do something about the bad actors on that show. So I can watch it without cringing. Because the storylines were good, you know? I just couldn't deal with the acting. Oh yeah, I did hear about how original Blair was Asian, then they recasted her to white, blonde, blue-eyed woman. What race is Sunny on GH? I don't even know. I don't know if Sunny is Italian or Spanish. Because it seemed like different things at different points in GH. Like they've leaned towards one thing or the other throughout the years. And I've never fully understood it either. You know, Sunny is rare in the sense that, like, while his face stays the same, you know, it could be like a bunch of different things. I had a point I was gonna make. Oh yeah, Trina. Don't forget Trina. Trina was also Asian and then became black. I always thought he was half Spain, half Italian. Okay, see, I'm not crazy. That's what I felt. It was like always like going back and forth between those two. Sunny 40 Love Style says Sunny transcends race. You guys, I mean, you're not wrong. Sunny's biracial, Italian and Spanish. Okay, could be Hispanic. Yeah, I remember him speaking Spanish too, like a lot. Oh man, but yeah, the recasts are just like it's a slippery slope. No matter what, you know, they really got to take a chance. Like some recasts, I just couldn't warm up to. Some I've fully embraced. Some I've wanted to like and didn't. Some I've, you know, liked the actor, hate the writing for the character. I will say the recast that we're dealing with currently, Emma, really enjoying her. She's won me over. I will miss Brooklyn, but she was, you know, she was great as like the little girl Emma, and she was getting older, and it just, you can only kind of play that cutesy role for so long, you know, before it's like I don't know, it goes, for me it goes into Charlotte territory, where like they're still like, this is supposed to be a high school kid, and they still write her like she's 8 years old, and it's, I don't know, it's weird. Yeah. And I feel like I know I initially was like kind of iffy about how the character of Emma changed so much, but like kind of hearing the backstory of it, and like the more we learn, like the more it makes sense for her to kind of end up this way. Sandy said, I hate a recast, but we need a Michael for the story stake. Yeah. Yeah, we do. But I won't hate the idea of a new Michael recast, as long as the actor that plays him makes the character enjoyable for me in some way, because I have not enjoyed Michael since 2010. But yeah, Emma I warmed up to. Jordan, it's difficult for me because I really loved original Jordan, Vanessa Antoine. I actually got to talk to her on James Lott Jr.'s show back in the day. before I started GHMV, I think. Or was it? I don't know. Maybe around the same time? I don't know. But yeah. But yeah, I really loved Vanessa Antoine. The second Jordan, whose name escapes me, Brianna something. I liked her. They wrote Jordan very differently, though, is the only thing. But she did play what they wrote pretty well. I feel like they softened her with that Jordan. And then this Jordan is a lot more cold than I think both of them were. But I also am rooting for Jordan as a character because, like, she needs a dude, and she's already broken up with her dude just to be a undercover cop again. What was the point? Damn, like, what was the point? Oh man, but like, I also feel like in terms of just the character of Jordan, like what she's been like since this actress came in, they have barely given her anything. Barely given her anything. This is like the first, like, since kind of putting her in Isaiah's sort of corner, I guess, like, they've started putting her in more stuff. But, and I don't know, like, it just feels like it's too late. Like, they've had her for quite some time, and it's like, what are we doing here? Maybe we'll see what she does while she's sort of in Jen Sidwell's grasp. If I were to be a betting man, which typically I'm not, I would say that there is probably a good possibility that they might end up killing Jordan off. Because why? What's keeping her here at this point? They refused to put her in a relationship longer than a couple of months. TJ, her son, is gone. We don't know where he is. He could be at a different end of the hospital or out of town, but no one is addressing it. So, like, you know, and she ain't getting back together with Curtis. Curtis is with Portia. Could Curtis and Portia break up in the future? Yes. But I think Jordan would not get back together with Curtis at this point. And vice versa. Because they couldn't work given her line of work. And now she's somewhat back into her line of work as, like, a freelancer. Basically. They were going to break her and Jordan, or break up Jordan and Isaiah. GH refuses to give her any romance. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I was like, they done finally bring a man on for her, and then they do nothing. And even Isaiah, we're not seeing that much, and that frustrates me. Because they seem to really be hitting the ground running with him, and then it just kind of fell off the map. In terms of, like, establishing him into the crowd. Because he was sharing scenes with so many people initially. Like, he was having scenes with Molly, and he's had scenes with Jordan, of course, and Elizabeth, and Lulu, and Lucky, of course, because they were best friends. But, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess what I could see happening with Isaiah is, I think at some point the truth is going to come out about Portia and the Heather Weber situation. I think they will make him chief of staff. Hopefully co-chief of staff with Terry. I don't think Jordan's going to become the mayor. I feel like she has no desire to become the mayor. She didn't even enjoy being the mayor deputy. Why would she want to be the mayor? Jordan needs to investigate where her son is instead. Angel! Yeah, Jordan needs to investigate where her son is instead of Sidwell, for sure. For sure. Jesus. Where? Molly don't know. Did they even divorce? Didn't they only separate, or are they divorced? Wait. Hold on. How does that work in what they were? Because they weren't like husband and wife. Does a divorce happen in that situation? I know nothing of this. I knew it was a thing. I can't remember the term of it, but like something partnership, whatever. But I've never thought about that. Molly moved on. They were never married. So, but what's the process of getting out of whatever their thing was called? Like, how does that work? Did they establish that? Man. But yeah, Molly's clearly moving on to Cody. She's like, TJ who? I still think Cody has better chemistry with Lulu, though. Just saying. Oh, Lulu. I've enjoyed her portrayal of Lulu. The writing isn't always there for Lulu. She does get annoying at times, but it's not the actress. I think the actress is doing a wonderful job with the work that she's been given. There's no legal document. Okay. Domestic partners. That's what it was. Okay. So I hated Molly for TJ. Do y'all remember when Molly was a kid and, well, not a kid, but like a young, a teenager, not quite yet an adult, and she and TJ were going to rent a room at the Metrocourt and have sex and all this thing. I thought for sure we were getting a teenage pregnancy with those two. I thought for sure. I thought they were trying to make her like the next star. No processors, no legal. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Angel. As well. But yeah, I'm really enjoying her portrayal as Lulu. Allison, you say you're okay with Lulu and Dante. Yeah, like, I'm okay with that too. Because, you know, when Lulu ended up in a coma, she had feelings for Dante. He likely still had feelings for her too. But then Dante moved on. But eventually Dante's got to heal from the loss of Sam. And I don't need it to be fast. I'm okay with Lulu and Dante sort of reestablishing a friendship and then a relationship. But it could be a slow burn. It doesn't need to be this year even, for me. You know? Lulu and Dante were a pretty slow burn, even at their start as well. First she only knew him as Dominic, and then she found out the truth, and, you know, I feel like it was like a 2-year thing. Christina's better off with the Grim Reaper, Kaiwan. Poor Charles. Poor Charles is better off with without Christina being alive at this point. You know, ain't no one gonna fall out of windows by tripping on suitcases. Babies aren't gonna die. Alexis isn't gonna end up in jail without her again. You know, Molly could be the only daughter that they can focus on. And, you know, this is not a knock at Kate Mansi, okay? Kate Mansi's a decent actress who's just saddled with a god-awful character, okay? Lord. No one needs Christina. Nobody. Not a single person. Even as much as Alexis thinks so, Molly does not need Christina. Molly can be at peace without the woman. Rick and Ava would certainly be better off. Same with Elizabeth. Probably Lucky too. He can own the bar. He can own Charlie's. He can be just like his father and own Charlie's. You know? Own a pub that people like to go to. Even though Luke's was more of a ship. But I digress. Everyone at this point would be better off. Yeah, like I don't. It's not Kate Mansi that I dislike. It's Christina. The writing for her is awful, and they don't want Christina to grow for whatever reason. And so even if they were writing Lexi this way and Lexi was playing Christina and getting as much screen time as Kate Mansi, I would be like, no, this something's got to give. Wait, I missed what you said, Angel. Something about Christina Senior. I think I don't know if I got what you said before about. Oh, you missed Christina Senior. Okay, I thought you said something else. I don't know. I only seen bits and pieces of Christina Senior. So I didn't have much of an opinion on her. Why doesn't Lucky become a special detective? I mean, he's been a cop before. Maybe he's just done too many crime things to be a cop at this point. But like, I wouldn't mind him becoming a PI. I lived for the era where Sam was a PI and Lucky was a cop, yes, but like also helping out Sam with her capers. Like I thoroughly enjoyed Lucky and Sam, and I've said it in the past, and I know it shocks some of you. I liked Lucky and Sam more than I liked Jason and Sam. I said it. They were a gorgeous couple, and he brought out the best in Sam, and Sam brought out the best in Lucky at that time, because Lucky sort of lost that adventurous side of himself over the years, just given like how much hatred he had for his father and how sort of toxic Lucky and Elizabeth's relationship was back then. They brought out the best in each other. They healed each other. They got together in a toxic way, and then they ended up falling in love and like being good for each other. And I thoroughly enjoyed their entire story. I really did. They are giving Christina the AJ treatment. Never letting AJ learn. And it sucked because for a minute, like AJ seemed to be doing better as a human being, and then they just decided to make him be a drunk again for like no reason, and then all hell broke loose. Are you talking about Christina's hair or Sam's hair in that era, in the Lucky Sam era? Because Kelly's hair was gorgeous in those days, like vibrant colors and you know, some volume in it. They really like spruced Sam up. They really did. Sorry, Kevin, I don't understand what you're saying. Who was together for just one episode? Oh, are you talking about like how like they were together and then they just kind of broke up and then basically swapped partners again? I said this back then on like message boards and stuff. I feel like people were more excited about Lucky and Sam than they were Jason and Elizabeth, and they were just like annoyed by it, so they just swapped. Because I think they really wanted Jason and Elizabeth to be the next super couple, and they just, I don't know if the writers just couldn't figure out a way to not get them out of their repetitive sort of, I don't know, spiel of like, you know, Jason or Elizabeth saying like, I want to be with you, Jason, and Jason being like, I can't be with you, my life is too dangerous. And it was that for 3 years. It felt like 2006 to 2008. Iliason sucked. They had their fan base, don't get me wrong, they had a big fan base, but like, I just don't think that they expected Lucky and Sam to be a likable couple, and because of the way that the characters of Lucky and Sam fundamentally were, they worked better because they were on the same wavelength. Where Jason and Elizabeth, they couldn't connect in that way. Like, they were just like polar opposites. You know, Jason was this mobster and Elizabeth was kind of like a wallflower. They kind of made her like angelic and innocent like back then, even though she was far from it. And so the characters just didn't really work. And like in the end, like there was no way to kind of get them out of that without writing one of them to be out of character. And I think that's what ultimately made them fail. Whereas they kind of had a bit more in common probably back when they were younger. Lou Sam was hot. Lou Sam was hot. I mean, Greg and Kelly were pretty. You know, they were pretty people. So that certainly helped. But like, also because Sam was a bit of an adrenaline junkie, and Lucky, you know, we know that he had an adventurous streak when he was growing up with his parents. So she brought that side out of him again, and it really clicked for them. It really did. They wrote them well, they gave them decent stories, and people, you know, I can say that I really enjoyed them as a couple. Angel says Liz can't hang with Jason. She never could handle it. Yeah, it's true, and there's nothing wrong with the fact that she couldn't handle it. She just needs someone that's like, you know, a decent guy for her. That's you know, really gonna commit to her. And Jason can't really commit to anybody beyond Sonny and Carly. That's why J-Sam ended in the first place. I mean, no, like really, actually no, that's a lie. They broke up because suddenly Sam became like Elizabeth and couldn't handle Jason's life anymore. Which was so left field for me. So left field. Yeah, Lou Sam are the ones who were wronged. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Sam didn't... I mean, neither of them reacted in a good way. To be fair. They could have reacted differently. Sam made mistakes, you know? She hired a guy to fake threaten Elizabeth in the park. And then Jake got kidnapped. And she saw and didn't say anything. Like, she was in a bad way. She certainly was in a bad way. And, you know, I think Lucky, you know, he was jealous of Jason, of course. Jealous of Jason, and hated that he and Elizabeth were getting together. And he resented Jason even more when he found out that Jason was the father of Jake. Jason just needs to be put with Carly already. He puts her first, always. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really enjoy Jason and Carly's sort of first real shot at romance under Steve and Laura. It's like, it made sense with Sonny not being in town that they would bond and become, you know, maybe romantic a little bit. But it just, I don't know. They work better as friends for me. Lou Sam was overrated? No, they weren't. They were underrated. That's why they were like, you know, that's why the writers were bitter and put them back with Jason. Like, okay, let's just do our original plan. But Nathan, who's laughing now? Because Sam's dead. Ain't nobody laughing now. Kelly done lost her job. I mean, she didn't lose her job. She quit because she didn't want to take the pay cut or whatever. Has she even bothered with that podcast yet, guys? Did that go anywhere? She made this whole ass announcement and talked about how she's gonna finally spill the tea, and then nothing. Shocking. Now no one has a Sam to be with. But I loved Lucky and Sam. They were an adventure junkie couple. And then, but to be fair, Nathan, I really liked J Sam after Lou Sam, because I feel like, for me, like, the reason why I kind of was like meh about J Sam towards the end of the first era was like, Sam, I don't know, Sam just seemed so dependent on Jason. And, you know, Sam really got to be by herself for a while, and then she ended up with Lucky, and, you know, she was able to find her independence through that relationship, and I think it ultimately made Jason and Sam a more equal footing couple by the time that they did get back together in 2009. So I just want to make that clear as well, you know? I'm not shitting on post Jason and Sam. Or post Jason, or what? Post Lou Sam, Jason and Luck. I should just stop talking, y'all. Post Jason and Sam, or no, post Lucky and Sam's J-Sam. Second era J-Sam. I liked them, and I was okay when they got back together. I missed Lou Sam, but because Sam was more independent and she kind of had a family established, and, you know, she had her own life to live, her own career, all these different things, J-Sam really worked for me after that. But I still preferred Lou Sam, and I would have loved them to get back together. But also, like, Lucky and Sam would not work with Jonathan Jackson. It just wouldn't. They didn't even acknowledge that they dated when Sam died. Jason is always in Carly's business and doesn't like anyone with Sam, or anyone she's with besides Sunny. Sandy says J-Sam was my favorite couple. Austin says, yeah, Sam turned into Liz 2.0, which was lame. I agree. Nathan said Kelly's friend Shauna announced the podcast is underway. They'll be on podcast 1, but she also said Kelly has to wrap up some work, so anything is possible, but no date yet. It just feels like moving the goalpost to me. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, how long has Kelly been, like, dangling the truth in front of us? Since before Billy Miller passed away. And we've heard exactly none of it. Zero of it. Then she talked about how, you know, after she was let go or whatever, whether she was fired or let go or quit, whatever happened there, she dangled it again and crickets. And now she's talking about a podcast, and now she's got some work that she's having to wrap up. Which, where is the proof that she's even working? You know? She doesn't post on social media. We don't know any, like, if there's any truth to if she's working or not. No one's talked about Kelly in a new role doing something. So, like, what's she doing? Where's she at? Where's the work? I don't know. I'm bitter about it, you guys. Like, Kelly Monaco was always, like, a person I thoroughly enjoyed as a person. Like, she just seemed fun. Like, I loved seeing her in, like, interviews and, like, fan events for GH. Because she was, like, shamelessly flirtatious with Steve. And, like, kind of hamming up J-Sam. And, like, just, you know, she was just fun. She was just fun. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe over the years she's gotten bitter and jaded over, you know, probably to start with how things ended up with how Billy Miller was treated. And I don't mind that part. I think that, you know, she really cared about Billy, and she was fighting for her friend, and I think that's admirable. but it's how she was clearly sort of sabotaging J-Sam that really didn't sit with me the right way, because it was obvious she was phoning it in for her scenes, which she's admitted to, and like she was basically goading the writers to give her less, because you don't want to be in the most popular couple that you've been in. Like, you don't want to work with Steve because you're bitter that essentially him getting his job back and it kind of ended Billy Miller's time on GH. But like, that's not really Steve's fault. That's on the writers. They could have done so much with Drew at that time when Billy was playing him, and they did everything humanly possible to not give him anything. They could have given him all of his memories back. He could have known who Drew was. He could have ended up with Kim. You know, like, they could have rebuilt their relationship, or even, you know, it kind of had like a love triangle between Sam and Kim for a little bit. There was just a lot. Did you see the reality show with Kelly and the other soap stars? I think so, and I just don't remember a whole lot of it. I know at one point it was uploaded on YouTube. If it still is, I wouldn't mind rewatching that for like a reaction stream sometime. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah, you're not wrong, Angel. I'm sure that they had a thing. They definitely had a thing. We've seen like paparazzi photos, but like, I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't think that they were together when he passed away, right? But I still think that, like, you know, she cared about him. Didn't last long. Yeah, I remember it didn't last very long, but I do remember it. I just don't remember exactly what went down on those scenes. Or on, not scenes, but like, it feels weird to talk about like storylines in reality television, but like, kinda. Dirty Soap. That's what it was called. Okay. Maybe I'll look it up sometime if it's still on YouTube. But on that note, I think we should end the stream here, because we're talking about nothing. It's been fun. But I gotta just unwind and relax, get ready for bed, because I got work in the morning, and I'm sure you guys do too. So we'll end it here. Thank you so much for hanging out and talking about recast and sweeps and drama and Andrew, if you're still here, Albert. But yeah, I will catch you guys this Sunday. If you liked this stream, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I'd really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys on Sunday. Mwah. Good night.